respirators and stuff. And even China is saying to Italy, here, have 100,000 respirators because you need people on oxygen, and nobody has got it. So it takes a while to ramp that up. In the meantime, the virus is zooming up really quite rapidly with bad people, overswamps the hospital line, so you can't get the care. And so this is where triage kicks in, where the doctors have to say, okay, we don't have any equipment, you have to stay out in the hallway till you're dead, kind of thing. It's really nasty, but this is what's happening in Italy and other places, until the number of people come in underneath the capacity of the hospitals, which is the green area. That's where you get treated, and there's less people, like low mortality. So I'll send this document through so you can read it. But the reason for the self-isolation and the care is so that this spike that's here comes down underneath the medical care operations, so that you're able to get care. If you can't get the care, then and you're in the severe area, then it's not very good. However, on the other side of things, it's likely to only affect old people like Eusebio and myself.
No, I'm not old, Chris. I'm not old.
People that are over 60 are more susceptible to this, or have a better mortality rate, worse mortality rate. Okay, Edward, I'll post the link now. Yeah, that's right. But I'll send it through in the video email as well. So that just lost half of my my people. This came through from Ralph as well, Ralph Shapiro, who just had an operation and is doing really well. But from for people under 60, you can be infected, but it's like mild flu, like they say. But for people over 60, if you're unwell as well, then the mortality rate goes up to 20% of those people can die. So people like Eusebio, my age group and older, be more careful about things and be careful about where you go and who you see. Okay, scary stuff. Just to okay, there's more scary stuff around, but I'll leave it at that and give you the virologist. But overall, he said most likely it's only 1%. Having said, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff coming out. So I'm not a doctor. I'll just transfer you through to what people say. But the important thing that I wanted to bring up with this was this will tell you, give you an idea on what to work with, and then down below it gives you a lot more information about why and how. It seems to be a really reasonably good article. Hey, Louise. Okay, and
yeah, and this is why, Chris, if you allow me a few words about that. Personally, sure. I consider this situation as a risk to manage. And so my first priority, as you know, in trading is to handle risk. So my first priority with the coronavirus is to avoid catching the coronavirus. And so I will take, and I will advise all the people I know to try to take some simple measures in order to avoid catching the virus. Then, if I catch the virus, my second priority will be to avoid spreading the virus to other people. So try to think about that and take the necessary precaution to really minimize the risk for yourself and all the people around you. So.
Okay, thanks, Eusebio. So washing your hands with soap does kill the virus. The virus has got an oily or a fatty surface on it, and soap will penetrate that, and then the virus essentially falls apart.
Yeah, because it is a weak virus, in fact, but it has some resilience over time. For example, on plastics, it can survive 72 hours. On papers, it can survive 24 hours. So, so we have to take some precautions.
The other thing is that if you get vegetables delivered and fruits delivered and stuff like that, you can wash them. So wash them in a light soapy water to kill the viruses. But
yeah,
try not to get it too scented. But that can be helpful. And what else? And I bought myself a bunch of plastic gloves, because then I can reuse them. And it will also remind me, if I'm wearing the gloves, that not to put my hand on my face because I've got this dirty glove on. It's kind of a psychological thing, but as your hand's coming up to your face, you see this big blue thing or grey thing or whatever, and so you think, oh, I won't touch my face with that. So it's one way to help. Masks don't seem to help if you're not infected, because the virus can get in through your eyes as well as through the mask. It's quite small. It might slow it down a bit, but the virus can still get in if it touches your eyes. Then it goes into the saliva, into the tear duct gland, and into your nasal passages. Okay. And what else? It's the mask. But if you do have it and you're out in public, wearing a mask is helpful because it will stop a lot of the spread if you're coughing and stuff like that. Okay. We are not doctors, and you can take that as you like, but I just want to dump so much on. Yeah. Anyway, I'll write that tongue. Okay. The other thing is that this is really going to impact currencies. New Zealand relies on tourism, and just last week we had a call from our tourism board director, and he said, "Oh, we must open up our borders." Just this weekend, our borders were shut down. No cruise ships are allowed in. If you're a tourist coming in, you have to wait for 2 weeks, like I said. So it's kind of just one fell swoop has killed the tourism industry here in New Zealand, although it wasn't running very well in the first place, just prior because of all the lack of travel. But now it's official. Australia has really clamped down on things. They've gone quite hard at this, and there's bound to be others. But if you do this social isolation, like don't go out, be really careful, then that spike that I was showing you can come under control much faster than it would if you just let the disease spread normally. It's going to be interesting to see what the US and the UK do, because they both haven't really done anything much yet, although the US seems to be ramping up, but the UK still hasn't pulled its finger out and done anything about much. So, yeah. Anyway, okay. What else have we got? Suffer Brazil. Yep. You're going to be really isolated, and I don't know where people will go either. Let's talk about more important stuff. How did your lemon cake turn out, Eusebio?
It was really excellent, and my two friends have appreciated it. So.
Okay.
And because now we will not see each other for at least 3 months, because we will wait for the problem to be behind our back. So we are taking some precautions now. So it was the last time I was seeing my friends. So.
It'll be a few weeks, but maybe the worst of it, the scary part of it, will be over by then, or not. We'll see what happens. But what I was trying to say was, it's definitely impacting New Zealand, and Australia. Aid packages going out, people being helicoptered money into their bank accounts and all sorts of stuff like this. People being out of work because there's no work around. China, I haven't seen much from there about whether it's ramping up yet, but we get chemicals like for medicines and stuff like that from China, and also from India. And India hasn't reported much yet, but it's going to go through them like a dose of salts, as we say. But I haven't seen, even though China is saying, yeah, we're under control, I still want to see sort of tangible proof of that coming out. I don't trust governments when they say things like that, especially the Chinese government. So we'll just have to see. But what that means is that China is not producing goods for the rest of the world, so the rest of the world is slowing down as well because of China being hit. And now with the virus going through, it's going to impact things even more. So economies are going to get a hit, which can be good for Forex. Sorry, this is the bad news, which is good for us. What I was going to bring up was that if you are, and I sent it out in the invitation, if you're not very good at trading in these volatile markets, like for instance, we have a little spike like this. I don't know why, for some reason. It was 1,400 pips on the pound Kiwi. If you were long, that would have been really great if you could get out somewhere around the top. If you were short, you just had your account cleaned out. And I've had a couple of people contact me and say, I just lost my account because of big spikes like this. You have to be really careful. And I'm wondering if we need to be careful of brokers. I don't think the virus will take them out very badly if they're youngish people that are in there, but it could be that your broker just suddenly gets the disease and can't turn up and things fall apart on that side of things. So maybe consider having two brokers to trade with rather than just placing everything in one. If your broker's big enough, then it could be okay, but there are still some mum and pop ones around. And I'm a little bit concerned about my New Zealand one. I think there's maybe 20 people there, and yeah, don't know. Bitcoin.
Now concerning the markets, the different markets, so yeah, there may be excellent opportunity, but it makes things also more difficult to analyze. I remember Thursday, so this week has been a nightmare for me to define, in fact, correct bias, fundamental bias, because there were a lot of contradictory information from all over the world, and so to have a clear, objective position was really, really difficult. And for the pairs, my bias were pretty good most of the time, but for the stock market, I was completely wrong, for example. I was expecting a rebound, but the market has continued to go down. Friday was a bit easier, so, but yeah, it becomes sometimes difficult when we are overloaded with information. So.
Okay, and yeah, so the thing is, if you're finding it tough, and it is tough, don't trade. Just step back and protect your money. Save yourself.
Indeed, indeed.
I've kind of stepped back during Brexit because I was getting into trades which looked really nice setups, and I kept checking them with Eusebio saying, what did I do wrong? Similarly with other people. And you'd see a nice breakout, get into it, and then the price would snap back against you and take you out. So protect yourself and limit the amount that you're trading, the size of your trades, or what you were trading. And Dan wrote a nice email through. I'd bring it up, but I won't bring it up. But he did say, let me see if I can paraphrase some stuff. You said some nice stuff there, Dan. He's limited the number of trades that he watches at the same time, and he has to follow them more closely. And if you want to be unmuted and jump in on this and scare people to death, anybody is welcome to. But okay, yeah, John, and Russia and Saudi having their tiff. Well, I get the different impression. John has said that Saudi-Russia dumping oil at an unsustainable price on the world market will impact US shale producers. Yep, unless the US government steps in to fight product dumping, as it did on Chinese dumping steel on the world market. But my impression is that, and I can be wrong, like I don't follow it that much, but it seems like Trump has decided, hey, we've got cheap oil out there, let's fill up our coffers and stuff the US shale producers, kind of thing. So it looks like he's, that's my impression from it. So he's made it even worse for your US shale producers. Okay, I think we've done the scary stuff. I'm sure we'll come back to it through the session. So let's push on with the NewsWatch and get down to real things, realish things. But now is a really good time to be super careful. Maybe split your account up, like I was saying, into two brokers, not or take money out of your account in case it disappears. I'm a bit concerned about banks. Like I've got some money involved in PayPal, which is in a US bank, and I don't really trust much on that side of things either. So I'm wary about leaving it in there. Just giving you my thoughts. Okay, Dan. Thank you. So Dan has said he's treating every trade as a choppy mode. I won't mention your take profits because I think they're a bit different. Diminish the number of trades at the same time, and using minimum risk or lots as using as small a risk as possible.
Yeah.
And he's also said, unlike normal days, I cannot take my eyes off the screen, otherwise I would miss an entry or an exit. The downside, and this is really important, is you become narrow-visioned about your trade. So you just kind of focusing only on what the bar is doing, and you're not looking at the whole picture of what is going on at once. Yes, John, I agree with it. It's possibly good for the rest of the people, but not necessary for the shell producers. Yep, it's cheap oil for your country. At the detriment of the people that produce oil in your country. But hey, this is business. So let's do the news watch. And if you have some comments that you want to say or some links you want to share, I'm happy to put them up after they've been vetted, I guess. Okay, that's different to what I saw, so maybe I've got it wrong. Okay, coming back over here, there was a couple of other things. So spoken about trading in the crash and mitigation, and there is one good thing if you're stuck in your house and you've need to do something. There is I used to teach and teach a course called photo reading, which teaches you how to learn a book in about 2 minutes. So if you've got a 400-pager and you want to get the information out of it as fast as possible. And it was developed more for technical reading as opposed to novels, because everybody says, I enjoy reading a novel. Well, that's fine, but photo reading can still help with that. With photo reading, you can blast through it in about 2 to 4 minutes. You may not know it all consciously, but at least it's been bunked into your system. And what the company that does it, they're called Learning Strategies. I'll put the link in. Good company. Are doing is producing, starting this coming week, and I have no affiliation with these guys. I do know them, but I don't get a kickback or anything. And this thing is free. You can do the photo reading course itself. They're probably putting up by video, probably give away their photo reading book in PDF format. And if you're into learning or speed learning, not speed learning, what is it called? Accelerated learning styles. When you do this course, you can get the information out of a book as if you'd read it about 20 times faster than normal. I can spend about 2 or 3 minutes on a book and be comfortable that I know enough in it to be able to use the information. I may not be able to consciously talk about it. This is my side of things. But when it comes to a situation where it's required, I will unconsciously know what the best thing to do is. And I'll come up with these really brilliant ideas a couple of months later and think, wow, that was cool. I'm quite bright. And then a couple of months later, I'll go back to the book and find, there's what I had listed out exactly word for word from the book itself. Other book people that I've taught that have done photo reading have found that they've got photographic memories, and so they just go through the book once in 2 minutes, and like I said, they've got photographic memory recall of the book that they didn't know about. So about 10% of the people that I taught found that they had that kind of ability as a result of it. So okay, so I'll put the link here right now, so you've got it, and I'll also put it in the video. But it's pretty bloody amazing. when you actually do use it. Retention is really cool. To give you an idea, I used to read at around about 600 words per minute. Normal reading rate's about 300. I read a lot of books. And then when I did the course, and I went on a rival photo reading course because I thought, oh, this guy's moving into New Zealand. So I took his course to find out what it was about. It wasn't photo reading, but he did an evaluation at the start of the course to find out how fast people read. I didn't use photo reading because I wanted to see what it was like. And my reading rate was then up to 1,500 words per minute. So just learning the course really increased my regular reading rate. Retention is still like 80 to 90%. So, okay. Yes. And one more thing. Sorry, I forgot to put this in. There's another thing I also used to proselytize this a bit. EFT. It's called Emotional Freedom Technique, or also known as tapping. You can do a search on it. I'll put the link up too, but in our forum I've put a little video, a link to the manual. And this is kind of like an acupressure technique. And what you do is, if you have in a bad situation, I've used it lots of times trading, like I'm in a hole here, I don't know how to get out of it, I'm really angry with my flatmate, I'm miserable, or something like that. You can, some people, doesn't work with everybody, but most people, you can use this tapping technique and within about 30 seconds overcome all that emotional turmoil. It works almost like magic, and it's called tapping because you essentially tap on your face and sort of your chest, essentially, like tap, 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 tap. At the same time, complaining about whatever your issue is. The explanation is in the forum. I'll see if I can bring it up. Let's go there now. It's also all over the web, but sorry about this. So, oops. Don't look at my password. Are you lighting up another cigarette, Eusebio?
Yeah. Sorry, Chris?
You lighting up another cigarette?
No. It was a small light. Okay. I don't smoke. No, but I wanted, there was precisely a tapping summit for the moment. I think it's the 4th or 5th day, and the video are available for free for a few days. So.
Yep. Sorry, yes, there are tapping summits as well that go on. Yeah. So, introducing you to this, if you can give me that link, Eusebio. There's been a couple running around. One is just finished. Maybe that's the one you're talking about. So here under Change Your Mind, we've got, where is it? I've got mine upside down. Where is it? There's a copy of one of the tapping things. It's an old one from back in 2014, but here we go. ETF tapping. So in under here is a little bit of talking about it, and down the bottom here, or at the top, depends on which way you've sorted this, is a video. Like it does only take a few minutes to do the tapping itself, and it can work really well. And there's just 5 steps to go through to do it. You just very quickly, and if you want, I can go through it sometime. You find out how much the issue is impacting you. So Eusebio is really annoying. So I figure out how much out of 10 he's annoying to me. So if he's about an 8, that's all you need to do. Like 8 out of 10, Eusebio is really annoying as a person. Okay, and then you make a statement. You say, and it really helps if you use swearing words in it. So it has an emotional impact. And the way you do it, you say, even though Eusebio is bloody annoying, I choose to accept myself. So you do something like that, real simple. And then you do the tapping. And the videos here, there's a couple here to show you a bit of an explanation in the background by the guy who developed this. The tapping itself only takes 4 minutes. And if you didn't notice much of a change, then There's another video here to show you how to redo it, or extra bits. And so you just play along with the video. You can self-teach yourself this. So if you're getting upset about, stressed out about the virus, this is a really nice way of calming yourself down, or somebody else. And then you recalibrate, and you say, well, how much out of 10 doesn't you say you're annoying me now? It's about 4. So, and it drops down that fast. So you go back and you just do the thing once more. And so when it's about a 1 or a 2, then you can stop. And like I said, it only takes a few minutes, and it does work on things like grief. With some things, give it a shot. You might find it really helpful. One gentleman I told to said, my wife's a psychologist and she won't like this. And kind of poo-pooed it. And then he tried it and he said, you know, this thing works. I don't know that he told his wife though. Edward, something seems to be missing. Which one? The learning strategies? Emo-free. Yeah, that's, what is this? Yes, sorry, he's updated things. He keeps changing it. So emo-free is that one. Yeah. So Kurt, emo-free is the place. Edward, sorry, which link is not working? Let me know. Has it dropped off? Okay, thanks. I'll go through and check them out. Might have to change them. But if you do a search on the web for, what's his name? It's been so long. For tapping or EFT, and let's have a look at emo-free. Craig, I think is his last name. That's photo reading. Keeps jumping. Dun, 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 dun. Gary Craig.
Gary Craig, yeah, that's right.
Just came to me. So if you do a search for him, you'll get the real information. I'll put the link in as well. And the videos are quite small. The video that I've got in the forum is exactly the same as what's on YouTube now. When I posted it there was nothing up on YouTube, so it eventually came around. There are lots of various iterations of tapping that people have used to try and make more money out of it. So there's a lot of bullshit going around as well, like speed EFT and stuff like that. They're essentially all the same thing. Just depends on who you like. Yeah, Craig. And okay, so enough of the woo-woo stuff. You don't have to believe in it for it to work. Okay. But for some people, you might have to have somebody else go through it with you. But I really like it. I used to use NLP, and to do NLP on yourself, kind of had to go into a trance and all sorts of stuff, which was difficult. Or get somebody else to do it for you. With tapping, you just it's a mechanical thing. You just use your fingers and you tap on yourself. And the rate at which I tap is like this. And then I move on the next spot. So there are spots on your face. You'll see when you watch this video. Okay, enough of this. Let's do the NewsWatch.
Craig has mentioned that tap dancing works too, so takes your mind off of everything. And that's true that I like tap dancing, and regularly when I don't feel good, I rewatch several times. I have watched this movie many times, Singing in the Rain, with Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, Donald O'Connor, Sid Charisse. And after I have watched the movie, I feel so good and full of energy. So tap dancing works too.
Okay, good, Eusebio. Okay, so right, this is a strange one. NewsWatch. Let's pull the thing up. Here we go. So, really interesting top 10 this week. But we'll see that in a minute. So there's the NewsWatch for the 15th, and the time, I think, is, let me just reset this.
Yeah, is the time correct? Is the time?
No, it's not. It's changed again. So we're back over here, and DST is on.
Yes, John, indeed. And it's a pleasure, in fact, to see Beck 7 of 9 in Star Trek Picard.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Have you checked the clock?
Yeah, I just said you, Sabio. Okay. You were fantasizing too much about Picard. Right, let's go.
Okay, let's go. So on Sunday, we have the yen current account, so major higher time frames. I will watch in this context, indeed, to see the impact of all these events we are living now, the final GDP, quarter over quarter, just to monitor.
Hang on. Why has mine not got it?
I don't know. Because you are not on the right week, Chris.
March the 15th. This one.
Yeah, but
yep.
It's not the correct week on Forex Factory, Chris.
Yes, I was testing you. Okay, now we've got the correct week.
Okay, because the current account in Japan was telling me something. So on Sunday, let's check again. On Sunday, we have nothing special on Sunday. I will simply monitor the Chinese retail sales year over year. Then on Monday, I will monitor the German Bundesbank monthly report.
Okay, G7 is not monitored?
No, okay. I don't expect nothing from these political meetings. So,
right.
And I will monitor also the OZ monetary policy meeting minutes.
Yep. Ta-da, that's it.
Yeah, and that's it for Monday. On Tuesday, we will have, I will monitor the Swiss SECO economic forecasts. I will monitor the pound average earnings index 3 months over year. Then we will have the Euro-German ZU economic sentiment. This is a major. Similarly for the ZU economic sentiment, major. Then we have the CAD manufacturing sales month over month, major. And then we have the two retail sales for the US dollar as major, so core retail sales month over month and retail sales month over month. Then,
sorry, just before we go off, Eusebio, while we're here, we're not doing the bias anymore. If anybody is using the bias, a couple of people have mentioned, hey, where's the bias? We used to have it, the pre-news bias down the side here, where we would analyze it, but we didn't think anybody was using it much, and it was kind of confusing for a lot of people, so we've dropped it out. If you are using it, let me know, and we'll bit of COVID, and we'll reanalyze things. But for the moment, we're not using it anymore. Okay. Yeah,
because these bios are given 1 week in advance, or a few days in advance, but they can change in a matter of a second, and so this is why the daily bios are way more interesting. So where are we? So retail sales, and so we will have next the Kiwi GDT price index, major higher time frames.
Yep.
We will have the Kiwi current account, major higher time frames, and the yen trade balance, major higher time frames.
Okay.
Then on which day now? Thursday? Wednesday?
Thursday. Wednesday. Yep.
Yeah, because it is hidden by the clock. So we will have, I will monitor the Euro final CPI year over year and final core CPI year over year.
Okay.
Just monitor. Then monitor, of course, the German 30-year bond auction. Then the CAD CPI month over month major higher time frames.
Yep.
Then we will have the CAD core CPI month-over-month major higher time frames.
Yep.
Monitor, of course, the crude oil inventories.
Missed them. Yep.
Yeah, and then we have a big one in red, so with the Fed, so the FOMC economic projections, the FOMC statement, the federal funds rate, and the FOMC press conference, so all major plus higher time frames. Then we have the Kiwi GDP quarter over quarter, major higher time frames.
Hang on. Managed to bump that one nicely.
Then
okay, not the budget release for CAD.
No, it's less important.
Okay.
Then we have another important one with the Aussie employment change and unemployment rate, so major higher time frames.
Yep.
And then I will monitor the monetary policy statement for. No, sorry. Can you scroll down the calendar,
sorry.
please? Yeah, just to see. Okay, thanks. So another big one in red for the yen, so the monetary policy statement, the Bank of Japan policy rate, and the Bank of Japan press conference. So major plus higher time frame plus. And that's it for Wednesday. On Thursday, we have, furthermore, the Swiss trade balance major higher time frames. And then we have another big one in red with the Swiss, the SNB monetary policy assessment and the SNB policy rate.
Hang on. Sorry, did you mention the press conference?
Yes.
You did? Okay. I was too busy reading stuff. Okay, so this one's
the trade balance major higher time frame. And then, not the trade balance, but the two SNB.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we have the CAD. No, the CAD ADP non-farm is not important. We have the US dollar Philly Fed manufacturing index major. The US dollar current account major higher time frames. Monitor the US dollar natural gas storage.
Yep.
And bank holiday in Japan, so Thursday. And that's it for Thursday.
Okay, scrolling.
And on Friday we have the euro current account major higher time frames. Then I will monitor in the context of the Brexit the pound consumer inflation expectations, simply monitor. And I will monitor also the pound quarterly, Bank of England quarterly bulletin. And then we have the two CAD, core retail sales month-over-month and retail sales month-over-month, which are major. And that's it.
Okay, a little busier this week. Last week was kind of quiet, but for news at least. But very interesting movements. So I'll just save this before we change too much.
And I would not be surprised to see with the central banks, so the Fed, the Reserve Bank of Australia, the Swiss National Bank, the Bank of Japan, so to see some further rate cut, as we have seen this week, last week, so some in urgency rate cut. So with the Fed, with the Bank of Australia, with the Bank of Canada Friday, so it would not be a surprise to see further rate cut. So. And
the Bank of England did as well, did it not?
And twice. Bank of England, yes, twice. I don't remember, but it has it has cut its rate. Now pay attention if there are further rate cut. If you observe Friday with the CAD, we have seen something, it was almost at the end of the session, the US session. The CAD, so it was a rate cut, but the CAD has improved, I think. No, sorry, I was misreading the chart. The USD CAD, the CAD was improving, which is really strange. So the CAD should weaken with an interest rate cut, but we have seen the currency strengthening, and this is not usual. So,
but could it be that Trump is announcements causing it to drop?
Indeed, this is why when you see such a behavior, observe also the other CAD pair, for example. So, for example, if you take the pound CAD, if you take the the pound CAD, for example, now the pound CAD has moved upward, for example.
So this is the pound, this is the Aussie CAD, and this is the pound CAD. That last one was not the pound CAD. Yeah. So the CAD is definitely gaining in strength. Yeah.
As it which is not usual. So it seemed that in a first step with this problem, a rate cut is improving the currency, but on a medium term, it will weaken the currency, of course, because perhaps it is considered as a way to try to sustain the economy. And so this is seen as a positive news. So, but this makes this kind of behavior really challenging to trade, indeed. I completely agree, Dan, indeed.
Okay, so over here we have the top 10. Now, if you remember, it's been really miserable on the top 10s. It's been getting slightly larger, but now it's huge. We used to go for more, for those above 750. All of these have moved more than $750 on an average daily range for the last week. Some of the spikes on like the pound Kiwi at 1400 pips kind of pushing things up. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens once those nasty spikes are sort of flushed out of the system. But the movements have been getting a bit larger. The ranges on a daily basis have been getting a bit larger. So maybe instead of going for these top pairs, which seem to be super volatile, like a 1400 pip on the pound Kiwi and a few others, you can start slipping back down more into the mid-range where perhaps prices aren't quite so volatile, but they're still reasonable enough to make some money out of. In previous sessions, that we were looking at these pairs here having ranges sort of down under $600. So it looks like they've doubled at the moment, but that could be just because of the 1 or 2 day spikes that have been happening. Okay, so if you're finding it challenging, like we said, step away from the charts. Just watch. Good time to practice photo reading and the max. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the top 10 from here.
Or to practice with a demo account. You can practice live with a demo account, just to stay involved in the market.
Absolutely. Okay, so here we go. I'll make that.
Okay, so you have taken the list from the pound Kiwi to the euro yen. Oh, okay, that's good, Chris. You are really becoming very good with the first pre-selection. So
well, thank you. It pays to follow what you tell me. Okay. So go, Eusebio.
Okay.
So for Sunday we've got nothing, and on Monday we've got nothing. So.
Okay, so we will consider the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie as usual.
Yep.
Then the pound yen.
Where are we? Yep.
And then we will consider the euro Aussie or the euro Kiwi, or if you prefer the euro Kiwi or euro Aussie.
Yeah, they're being mean to us, so New Zealand is first. Please show us bar of the day that I sent you. Okay, Dan, I did have it up right at the start, so I can bring that back up. You mean your 500 pip bar? Okay, can do. We'll do that next. So for Tuesday, we have nothing on Monday, and on Tuesday we have the euro.
So the euro, okay.
CAD and US.
The CAD and the US, so US, okay.
And the Kiwi.
And the Kiwi, okay. So the first pair to consider will be the Euro Kiwi or Euro Aussie.
Yep.
Then we will have the Pound Kiwi or Pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then we can consider, I would like to consider two pairs here. So the Pound Yen or Pound CAD.
Okay. Okay, and on Wednesday we have, left over from Tuesday, we've still got New Zealand.
So the Kiwi, so Kiwi here and here, okay.
The Yen.
The Yen, Yen, okay.
CAD.
The CAD, okay.
And the US.
The US, okay.
That's it.
That's it. So the first pair will be the US dollar yen.
Ooh, haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, indeed.
Ah, come on. Okay.
Then we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then we will have the pound yen.
Okay, and so that was Wednesday. For Thursday we have hangers on. So if you're not too sure what we're doing, the US, the markets generally finish off at 5 o'clock on the US time zone, and then after that we pick up whatever happens after 5 o'clock. So after 5 o'clock on Wednesday is the yen coming through, Eusebio.
So the yen, and yen, yeah.
And then for the next day we pick up everything.
We have also the Aussie.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
The Aussie and the Kiwi.
See, I was testing you. Okay.
Kiwi and Aussie. Okay, and then.
Okay, and these come through after 5 p.m. So that's why we're splitting up the days into two parts after the US close. Okay, or around the US close. And then we have the still got the yen the next day and the Swiss.
Yeah. And the Swiss. Okay, there are a lot of choices. So
and the US.
And the US.
Yep.
Again the US. So it makes it a little more difficult. So we will have the US dollar yen again.
Okay.
So in fact, so US dollar yen, then pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then pound yen. So the same choice as Wednesday.
Okay. And for Friday, we have hangers on from Thursday, which after 5 p.m. nothing. And on Friday, we have the euro. So we're only picking up the majors.
Euro, okay.
And the CAD.
And the CAD, it will be a bit easier. So we will have the pound Kiwi, no, sorry, the Euro Kiwi or the Euro Aussie.
Yep.
Then the pound CAD.
Okay.
And then the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie. Now, before we close this point, Chris, I would like to go back day by day and to see if we have pairs with currencies on the three continents. So on Monday, we have European currencies, Pacific currencies, and we don't have a US currency. So as an alternative, so at the bottom of the spreadsheet, you can add, for example, let's say the pound CAD. On Tuesday, we have Pacific currencies, European currencies, and we have an American currency, so nothing else on Tuesday.
Okay. I'll add it in here. Okay.
On Wednesday, we have Pacific, European, and US currency, that's okay. On Thursday, we have Pacific, European, and US currencies, American currency, so that's okay. And on Friday, we have Pacific, we have European, and we have American currency. Oh, that's okay. So it was only on Monday that we could add a pair with an American currency, so the pound card.
Okay. Cool. I'll make an adjustment to the NewsWatch list as well.
Yeah.
And, okay, just something to be careful of on the pound. It's still playing with Brexit here. So,
yes.
That's why I've marked it with care, because it's still quite jumpy. They're still under negotiation. Brexit is not finished forever, but pretty much until the end of the year.